Hi guys and welcome. So you're joining me today to remake a muscle back top. Okay, so this is a red one that I wear for training. And I've took the pattern off this by simply laying it on top of greaseproof paper and cutting the pattern around it and allowing literally round the top. I've just allowed, if you see this, the width of that, that's all I've allowed on the outside of the pattern. So I'm going to be turning it in and top stitching it down. And on the sides, I've not been allowing anything because I'm simply going to overlock it the same as it's done on this top. And then on the bottom, I've allowed probably half an inch to turn up. So this is the pattern, and what I did with the pattern, especially with the muscle neck back, it wasn't easy to take the pattern. I literally laid the top on my table, and on the back where the muscle back is, where this is, what I actually did, I actually got my greaseproof paper, laid it over the top, and then I literally went with a permanent marker around the pattern, allowing the extra that I've just said. So where the line's there, I actually marked here. So that's the line, that's where I marked it. So I've got my overlap when I want to turn it under and sew it. And then what I did was cut half of the pattern out, and then so when I cut it out on fabric, it's literally going to be laid on the fold so that both sides are perfect in symmetric to the other. And then on the front, when I did the front, I put the greaseproof paper down first, laid the top the right way around, and then literally took the pattern off the front, went in there, joined that up after I took the top off, and again I allowed extra for the turn up, what I'm going to be doing. Okay, so that's easy enough to take your pattern. Right, let me just take that away. Right, so here I've got the back piece of pattern. I'm not pinning it, I'm not even getting my weights out today, I'm just feeling go with the flow. So I folded that over, so I'm simply going to go around now and cut it out. Okay, let's get rid of these. And opening that up, that is your back muscle back top. So that's the back of the top. So what I want to do now then, let's fold that over again. This time I'm going to be laying the front piece on the fold. And that's the front part of the top. Okay, now, because I'm just going to be wearing this in house, I'm not actually going out. I didn't actually do the pattern match on the stripe, but let's just see where they're going to rough and ready line up. Yeah, because it's a small stripe, that's going to be not far off, to be honest with you. Okay, let's go to the sewing machine. Okay, so I'm not too fussed about the threads that's on, because we've got 3 different colours in it. I've actually got 2 white on and 2 different shades of blue. But all this stitching is going to be on the inside, so that's not going to really matter on that. So let me just get that there for starters. Then I want the front piece. Yeah, that's the front. So I'm going to simply start off by attaching the 2 shoulder pieces. Okay, and then I'm going to overlock straight across that. Now once I've got that, I'm going to overlock all round the neckline. So that's the back of the thing, so I want the seam to come towards the back. I'm just making sure that that's laying that way. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do now then, I'm going to get the other shoulder and I'm going to simply put these 2 together at this moment in time. Okay, now what I'm going to do now then, where the arms are, going around the arms, I'm simply going to overlock both sides of those. And I'm making sure that the fabric is the right side facing up, so the neater side of the overlocking will be on the inside instead of the wrong side. So this is the back, so again I want the seam to come this way. And I'm not actually looking at cutting any fabric off, it's just the odd bits that might get took off. I'm going to go to the other side, right side up, exactly the same. Okay, and then I'm going to get one of the sides. Okay, so I'm going to take that to the top and I'm just going to run down the first side. Making sure they are together. Overlocking out of the way. Okay, so that is just one side that's stitched up, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to overlock the bottom, so the bottom hem, I'm just going to overlock that. That's the front, so I'm going to put the overlock on the inside towards the back. Okay, so what I'm going to do now then, I'm going to get the opposite side and we're going to put those right sides together. And then we're going to overlock these seams together. Okay guys, so that is all the overlocking done. I'm just going to go all round and literally sew the seams over. I've picked a lovely shade of blue to do the top stitching. So let me position you so you can actually see what I'm going to be doing. Okay, so it doesn't really matter where you start on this, that's my back. So again, I'm going to push the seam so it's facing the back, and then I'm going to be just turning it over the amount that I allowed extra when I was cutting the pattern out. Always do a good back tack, and then I'm literally just going to be running around it, turning the seam over as I'm going. And once again, if you are new to sewing, obviously pin it or clip it, whichever you choose to do. Now I'm not following any guideline on my machine at this point, I'm just turning over the amount that I've allowed. Get that overlocking, and I'm going to tuck it in the opposite side so it's actually stitched inside the seam. Okay, I'm going to trim the cottons as I go. Sometimes I don't, but today I am. And I'm going to turn it over, and I'm literally going to run the stitching that I've just done. I'm going to make sure that that's just on the inside of my foot, so I'm going to do a double stitch. Right, so that's one done. cut a bit of that overlocking off, leaving a small tail that I'm going to actually tuck inside of the seam. So I'm on the back there again, so I want the seam to come towards the back. I'm tucking the overlocker in once again. Okay, so turning it so the right side's up again, because this is where you're going to see if you're double stitching it, because your double stitching is making it look more professional, but you're actually following the stitch then. You can't really do that on the back because the stitch gets lost in the overlocking. The top and the neck, so all that's left as tops down is the hem. I'm just getting a piece of cotton there. Okay, so I'm going to do the hem obviously deeper than what's been going around the neck, so I'm going to take that to about 1/2 inch. Once again, I'm going to be turning the overlocking inside the seam, so there's no ugly stitching showing, bulkiness, because an overlocker can be bulky to thread. So obviously you've got 3 or 4 threads there. Turning it the right way again. Now what I'm concentrating on at this point, I'm concentrating on the previous row of stitching that I did. So I'm trying to make sure that they're all even as it goes around. And if you've actually got, you're using it on another machine where you've got a twin needle, then you won't have to go around it twice, just the once. Right, so that is the finished garment. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and press it, try it on, and then we'll see the end result. So here's the end result. Now, I don't know if you can you see the twin needling? As I did go around it twice, but this gives you your professional finish, because when you buy most of your clothes, it's not very often you'll just have one row of stitching, but it is done with twin needles. But only I haven't got one for my Duke. And then there's the muscle back, so that's be great for training. And literally, I've just run that up. I think it was just under 10 minutes from start to finish. Now, I have actually made myself a white one just earlier, and I'm gonna use this one to sleep in at night, because it's such a soft, like a t-shirt material. If anybody's wanting to see me taking the pattern off clothes that I am going to be redoing, just ask me. But I don't do it because it is so easy to take a pattern off something, because all you've got to bear in mind when you are taking your pattern is that you allow for seam allowance. So I hope you've enjoyed this little make. I've certainly enjoyed making it, and I'm going to be making myself some more. So thanks for watching. Stay safe, everybody, and see you soon. Bye for now.